Will You Snail is a tough 2D indie platformer where you will snail or fail quite a lot. The game boasts a Geometry Wars-esque aesthetic, tight platforming, a great soundtrack, and a wonderfully vengeful AI that literally changes the game. But how does it stack up against the other 2D indie darlings? Well, let's find out in GameXplain's review of Will You Snail that's available on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The game doesn't take long to drop you into the action, which is quite funny given you play as a snail. Yes, a snail. Do I know why? No, I don't, but do I care? Not even in the slightest, as the game is just that fun. Anyways, the entire game takes place as part of a simulation where Gary the snail is being hunted by Squidward? No, I mean Squid, a maniacal AI that is hell-bent on wiping out the human race as soon as he escapes the simulation. But until then, he'll do everything in his power to stop you in your tracks during each level. There's a small narrative throughout laying out the events leading up to Squid's breakdown, but it wasn't too prevalent, which is exactly how I like my platformers. It starts as any platformer should, offering a few easy platforming sections so you can get to grips with the controls, which immediately feels super responsive with plenty of aerial maneuverability. While tutorial-like sections are nothing new to platformers, Will You Snail actually uses this time to gauge your skill level and assign a difficulty level, which will then adapt further based on how your skills evolve. If you're having trouble on a level, Squid will bump the difficulty down, which he justifies as trying to make you feel dumb.
I think I was a bit too overeager with my difficulty increase last time.
But if you breeze through a room, Squid will ramp up the difficulty a notch.
Man, this was way too easy. I just upped the difficulty level a bit for you again.
I don't think I've ever played a game quite like this, and it felt very refreshing. The levels themselves reminded me of Celeste, being broken up into rooms of different platforming challenges, the odd collectible to find, and a few secret rooms that house interesting challenges. You have to avoid all manner of traps like spikes, lasers and cannons, and that's where the most interesting mechanic of Will You Snail comes into play. I'm sure we're all used to precisely designed platformers. In these, you know the layout of the level, where the obstacles will be, and you must do your best to navigate around them. In Will You Snail, Squid reactively spawns hazards based on your playstyle, which results in moments like it spawning a spike where it thinks you will land, or preemptively shooting a projectile to where it expects you to move. So not only was I trying to dodge the many projectiles flying towards me, I was also trying my best to trick the AI. Even in its short runtime, there's a nice amount of well-developed mechanics that help vary up to 4 worlds. Some have a gun pickup that can be used to destroy blocks and enemies. Others have a rhythm game-like mechanic where you have to input the direction on screen at the right time to avoid being wiped out by Squid. I never felt like a mechanic outstayed its welcome. If anything, some left me wanting to see them more. Games rarely subvert my playstyle so much. In Celeste or Meat Boy, I'm still playing it exactly how I've played all my other 2D platformers. But Will You Snail had me actively changing how I played on the fly, and is one of the reasons why the game will stick with me for some time to come. And speaking of memorable, did I mention that while all of this is going on, Squid is criticising your every move? Even going as far to ask me why I even bothered downloading a platformer in the first place if I was this bad.
Why would you download a platformer game if you're that bad at jumping? No, don't you dare to blame the controls for this.
This sort of dialogue would annoy me, but I was hooked on every single word that Squid had to say. Some of his lines actually made me laugh, which is something a game rarely does. There seems to be a unique line for everything, and I couldn't wait to hear the next insult that was thrown at me. The game also breaks the fourth wall on multiple occasions, but them parts are best saved for you to discover. The art style is simplistic, but it works. It has a nice neon aesthetic similar to Geometry Wars. It wasn't too busy, so I never lost a character on the screen, except for the few times when the game wanted to mess with me. As for the music, I absolutely love it. The main theme is so lively and it went straight into my game soundtracks playlist. There's quite a variety in tracks that perfectly match what's happening on screen. Presentation wise, Will You Snail absolutely knocks it out of the park with clean visuals and great music. I'm happy I got the chance to review this game, as it probably would have passed me by. The fundamentals are flawless with tight controls, great level variety and plenty of challenge, but where the game stands out is with the implementation of Squid. Not only is it entertaining to have it comment on your every move, but the effect on gameplay makes Squid's presence that much more impactful. Having an AI deliberately predict your movement was so clever and is extremely interesting, and I'm absolutely fascinated to find out just how Jonas Tyroller went about creating it. Unique games like this come around every once in a while, and it's worth every 2D platformer's fan's time. And that's why I love Will You Snail. There we have a review for Will You Snail. I would love to know what you think of the game in the comments down below. Check out the videos on the right if you want more great content, and you may as well subscribe while you're at it. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you all on the next video.